Kevin is a must. He's the alpha, the first. This is DJ Nicholas on the show. When you hear the trumpet or the flute, know it's a battle. And we put your vehicle in a drive, ready to travel. Like Mary, you are going to put it on circle. When the war so easy on me body, and when it
Good afternoon. Welcome to the mailbox. Another evening here on Love 101 FM, the family station. I'm Courtney Morrison, and today we're talking about the resilient man. Yes, indeed. This is the program aired every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Yeah, only on public holidays if it's a Wednesday that we do not come on. But it is now 5:32. And we're talking about resilient man. Let me tell you a bit about the making of a resilient man. It's a journey, not a destination. He's shaped by experiences, challenges, and choices. Facing challenges head on. He's learning to navigate tough times and come out stronger. Building a support network. He's surrounding himself with people who care and can uplift him. Practicing self-awareness. He's getting to know himself, strengths, weaknesses, and all. Developing coping skills. He's finding healthy ways to deal with stress and emotions, and he's embracing growth. He's open to learning, adapting, and evolving. Can you imagine? All these things is what the resilient man does. This is the program designed for men with guests who are men, hosted by men, and is aired every Wednesday, unless it's a public holiday at 5:30 p.m. right here in Love 101, the family station. It's a mailbox. And I'm just going to tell you again, I'm Courtney Morrison, and along with me is my co-host, Kevin Bailey. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Hi, Courtney. Great to be here. Great to see you as well. Hail up the man them from Morning Point to Negril. Hard-working men, resilient men, committed men, and men who have to bear so much burden and standing tall in Jamaica, greeting you wherever you are. So, to all our listeners, thanks for making Love 101 your station of choice. We are talking about the resilient man. The making of a resilient man is a journey shaped by his experiences, challenges, and choices. He's able to navigate tough times and come out stronger, building a support network and finding healthy ways to deal with stress and emotions. Today, we will be having a conversation with our very special guest, Mr. Tafari Reed, pastor at Mitchelltown and Portland Cottage New Testament Church of God, as he shares on moving on from the past and looking to the future. Great name.
Yes, indeed. Our guest this evening is, Kevin just said, is Mr. Tafari Reed. And he's a pastor at Mitchelltown and Portland Cottage New Testament Church of God. But let me tell you a bit about Reverend Tafari Reed. He's a devoted servant of God and proud native of Plowden, South Manchester. He has been deeply rooted in the Temple Hall New Testament Church of God, serving faithfully in various leadership roles such as as a member of the church and pastor council, youth fellowship president, Sunday school superintendent, praise and worship leader, and more. Yes, he is. Reverend Tafari Reed presently serves on the Rocky Settlement District of Churches, where he holds pastoral oversight of the Mitchelltown and Portland Cottage New Testament Churches of God. An accomplished educator, Reverend Reed holds a Bachelor of Education from the Mico University College. Let me pronounce it again. The Mico University College, Bachelor of Theology with minor in Guidance and Counseling from Bethel Bible College of the Caribbean, and a Master's in Educational Administration from the University of the West Indies. Professionally, he serves as a skilled trainer with Tax Administration Jamaica, that's TAJ, and is also a Justice of the Peace for Kingston. His life and ministry are marked by dedication, service, and a deep faith, inspired by the words of Philippians 4 and verse 13. I can do all things through Christ Jesus, who strengthens me. Reverend Reed is joyfully married to his beloved wife. I hope I get the pronunciation correct. Sonia Plummer Reed. Reverend Reed, good to have you here with us this afternoon. How are you?
Good evening. I am doing well. I am doing well. And you certainly got the
Reed,
pronunciation correctly.
welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Reverend
you.
Reed,
So
okay,
happy to be here.
yes.
Kev. Alrighty. So, man, remember, we want to hear from you. We're live on Facebook and
I really
YouTube.
have a very
You, we seem to have lost Kevin a bit there, but man, remember, we want to hear from you. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at Love 101 FM Jamaica. So if you're on radio but you want to join us live, you can go to our Facebook page or our YouTube page to get us. Remember, you can leave your comments via our WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125 or call our studio lines at 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. And for the youngsters and those who are young at heart, we're also on TikTok at Love 101 FM Jamaica.
Yeah, and the ladies, wanna say, we're gonna keep it dry and safe. We can't do without you. So, guess what? This is a question we want you to answer. How do you plan to move forward after the hurricane?
Mm.
How do you plan to move forward after the hurricane?
Serious question, Kev. We continue to send our condolences to the missionary and his daughter who were on their way to Jamaica, their second flight, to deliver hurricane relief, and they crashed and died in Coral Gardens in Florida. Our condolences to the families, and indeed, we thank all those who are doing their best to assist us here in Jamaica with the devastation that was caused by Hurricane Melissa in the western end of our island, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, Trelawney, and St. James. We know that other parishes were affected as well, but the major devastation occurred in those parts of the island. The death toll officially we heard at one point was at 45. So quite a number of lives gone. So while there's call for repentance and call for thanksgiving, it's also a time of mourning, Kevin.
Definitely, and a time to support our brothers and sisters, our family. After all, it's one Jamaica. And
Yes.
so, really heartwarming to see the outpouring of support. So many churches, so many businesses, so many individuals, artists, musicians, everyone putting together locally and overseas. And we really want to continue to encourage persons because it's going to be a marathon. It's going to be a long haul. So, Reverend Reed, we have a habit here where we count after three and we all say together, Monday up. So we would love you to join us after three, Reverend Reed. After three, we all together just say Monday up. 1, 2, 3.
Monday up!
That is right. Because men are present. And we are here serving as best as we can. Before we head into the main discussion, it's now time for us to get into the segment that we dub Draft, where we preliminarily open the way to our main segment. We want to ask Reverend Reed, the question, Reverend Reed, is this. Do you think that we are currently doing enough as a society to use this hurricane experience to build stronger people? Yay or nay? And depending on your answer, what are some of your reasons?
All right. Good evening again, everyone.
Evening.
So good to be here. This hurricane experience is a great learning experience for all of us. Myself would have traveled to the western side and would have seen a lot of devastation that occurred. Not only does travel to provide meals to persons, but travel to provide
psychosocial support and counseling support, because that is quite important for persons as they go through some things, especially our children and our youths. Some of them would have never encountered this kind of traumatic experience before. So the support is very much important. And so in response to your questions, your question, I think there are efforts that are being taken as relates to the hurricane, in trying to help persons to get meals and also help persons to get the kind of support. But I strongly believe that more persons can contribute to helping a brother, helping a sister, and helping someone to go along, because it's not just a tomorrow closure. It is something that is continuous, because my experience going to Bethel Town on last week Wednesday, we had to be moving some of the rubbles out of the way for my car to go through. And so we moving, going into the town, persons doing the same coming back. So it's not just a tomorrow end, but it needs that continuous support as it relates to helping those persons who are affected and helping them to come back.
Indeed it is. You know, Kevin, we visited, Fellowship Tabernacle Portmore visited Cave Valley in St. Anne. It's there at the borders, Clarendon and St. Anne, on Sunday, and it was just an amazing experience. When they showed you where the flood waters were, and you heard the testimonies of a lady and her daughter who were trapped in the house with the flood rains, and the roof at the same time was being lifted. They were so thankful. We were able to get to about 100 persons, I believe. But indeed, a big shout out to Pastor Shelley Thompson, Pastor Marlette Pottinger, Elder Percival Palmer, Pastor Paulette Ross of the church that we visited, and there were so many young persons there. One person lost their life through the floods in Cave Valley. It's a lot is to be done. As you said, it's a marathon. Yes, getting food and everything to the persons right now, very important. But electricity, water, the rebuilding of homes, and I believe looking at how to rebuild homes, you know, here in Portmore we have slab roofing. We have the safer roofing at this time. You know, it's going to be a long haul.
No, certainly, it really is. I think we're just about up on our first break. So this is the mailbox. We take a break, go to the studio, then we'll be right back after this.
Make the heathen them laugh talk. No one ever skylark. Some judgment going dark and a witch pattern. Big up Eternal Father.
Right now, our brothers and sisters in Western Jamaica are hurting. Homes have been destroyed. Families are struggling to start again after Hurricane Melissa.
Love 101 FM, the family station, is calling on you to join hearts and hands in love in action.
You can make a difference today by donating cash or kind to help rebuild lives.
We're collecting non-perishable food items,
Bottled water,
baby supplies,
hygiene products,
toiletries,
cleaning supplies,
bedding, tarpaulins, and small household items.
Drop off your donations of cash and kind at Love 101 FM or participating partner churches island-wide.
Every can, every package, every dollar helps bring hope to the hurting. Together, we are Love in Action. Love 101 FM,
the family station.
Recalculating route, new destination, home sweet home.
Feeling lost on the road to home ownership?
I know that feeling. So many steps, so many questions.
That's why the NHT is here to guide you on your journey home. Whether you're buying, building, or improving your home, the NHT's home buyer, home builder, and home improver loans make it more possible for you to get home.
You have arrived. Welcome home.
Visit any NHT branch today. NHT, the key to your home.
Grace is giving shoppers discounts on over 20 of your favorite Grace products when you cash out at participating supermarkets.
The time that Grace could move is
5:45.
We know you're making every dollar work harder, choosing carefully, buying what you need, and making it stretch as far as you can. That's why Grace is giving shoppers discounts on over 20 of your favorite Grace products when you cash out at participating supermarkets. It's our way of helping you sweeten moments together, share more meals, and take care of the people you love. Make a good move with 20% savings from Grace.
Oh, yeah, that's who you got. In the Lord we trust. Serve Him is a must. He's the Alpha, Alpha. This is DJ Nicholas on the show. When you hear the trumpet or the flute,
Yeah.
Welcome back. This is the Mailbox here every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. on your favorite station, Love 101 FM. Kevin and Courtney in the place, and we have a very special guest, Reverend Reed, Tafari Reed. Reverend Reed, I want to get an understanding of what is it that you encountered visiting the areas affected, and what is happening to your congregants and other people that you interface with. What are some of the feelings, the emotions that comes to you? Give us a feel of that.
Okay. All right. So, in visiting the Western Island, my whole experience is that persons were traumatized. Persons, you get that feeling of hopelessness. People have that longing, and when even the specific area that I was going to is that as you drive up past other areas, people stopping you. Seems as if they want a meal, want somebody to talk to. When I went on those a visit, I was not able to stop at every area, but when I went to the area that I went to, you get that whole atmosphere that people are looking for support. The area that I went to, a lot of houses were demolished. You were able to seeing children and families picking up the rubble, taking up their clothes, trying to create lines and all of that after the hurricane. Now, in the context of my members, currently pastoring in Clarendon, I have members who have families in those areas as well. And so you have that kind of traumatic experience, not hearing from their families, trying to call, and we're not able to get answers from family members. When I spoke to one member, still haven't heard from a brother, which it seems as if that community is marooned at the moment. And you can understand that whole emotion. Can't hear from them, wondering what is happening to them. And so I have to provide that kind of support continually, calling over the phone and making visits. Matter of fact, right after the hurricane, I made visit in my communities, visiting members, talking with them, just providing that support to them as they would have experienced those kind of feelings that they are going through, because they did not get the harsh hit of the storm, but they had family members in the western side of the island, reminding them that God loved them, reminding them that God cares, reminding them that God will carry them through this season and this point in their lives.
It's indeed a rough time, and as we speak today about resilience, it's going to take some form of perseverance, resilience, to get past all that has happened. I cannot imagine the trauma listening to some persons just giving God thanks just alone for being alive. They have lost house, livelihood, you name it, and they are so thankful for just being alive. It's almost like they had near-death experiences, Kev, when you hear their testimony. And so we're talking about resilience. How does one develop resilience? And is there a time factor in which you are supposed to develop it? And give us a brief definition of what you would call resilience.
All right, good question. So, in my own understanding, a resilient man is one who possesses mental, emotional, and spiritual strength. Because especially in this time, you need that strength in terms of your mental ability, your emotional state, and also in terms of your spiritual strength. And so I would deem a resilient man is one who is able to withstand and recover from difficult situations that they are experiencing without losing faith, without actually losing their hope and their purpose. So in this season, a resilient man requires that kind of tenacity to overcome, maybe a father in a home, the home is demolished, children are hungry, but he still have to stand to encourage his family and provide that support and that whole atmosphere of restoration and direction. So a resilient man is one who is able to stand in midst of adversities and challenges and circumstances that seem so insurmountable.
Wow, and that's pretty comprehensive, Reverend Reed. Just picking up on a few of the things that came out on your definition. This mental strength, because when you're going through trauma and grief, your thoughts can be so wired to be negative, to feel helpless and hopeless, as if it is the end of the world. How does a man deal with those negative thoughts when the reality in front of him is devastation? Help our men, those listening. How do you manage those kind of negative thoughts, Rev?
Right. So, when we talk about mental strength, we're talking about your cognitive ability, the ability to think, the ability to stay focused, the ability to make sound decisions, the ability to manage under pressure. And I'm sure that a lot of men today is experiencing real pressure. And the negative thoughts are going to come, the negative perception, mindset, the negative thinking are going to come because we're human beings who are going through that pressure. But what I always remind everyone, and especially our brothers, is that God never lies. His word is sure. And in midst of pressure, in midst of when our thinking is seen array, we call upon the Lord. We seek to rely on his strength because his strength will carry us. Our strength will fail. His strength will carry us through the challenging moments that one is experiencing. For example, how a brother will control his negative thought when they are going through these crises. But once we call upon God, he will definitely carry us through and provide for us through those difficult seasons of our lives.
Thanks, Rev. Yes, Courtney.
I'm just agreeing with him. Indeed, he will. The psychosocial need to be there to, how can we impress upon the heart of others? Because I believe for us to be resilient, can resilience function without support, or does support cause resilience to be enacted quicker? Do men need support to be resilient, or they are soldier, them can do this alone?
Most definitely, men need support because we need that support. We need that kind of support around us that will help us to go through difficult seasons. So although a man may be resilient in how he thinks, in how he operates, in how he manages his emotion, and maybe how he manages under pressure, the support is definitely there needs of, for example, psychosocial support, physical support, because you may have a brother or a man now who would have lost his job. Maybe his source of income working in an entity would have been affected by the storm, and so he would maybe need financial support or some kind of psychosocial support, because when a man cannot provide for his family, then we know that is going to affect how he thinks mentally and so forth. support is definitely needed from the church, from different entities, from the government, right all around. We all hands have to be on deck in supporting our brothers who are affected and providing that source of hope. So although there is a lot of negativity that surrounds it, there must be a voice of hope that says you are going to rise again. There is hope that says God is going to take you through the difficult seasons that they are experiencing. And so the resilient man have that kind of approach to push through the difficulties in maintaining a positive mindset, a positive understanding that the journey continues and that there will be a change, a level of restoration out of the difficult seasons.
Definitely, the journey continues. The journey continues, as you say. And so we are on our way to recovery. Rev, there are persons who say, I can't believe it. I have been a good Christian and look what has happened to me. How is it that God allowed this devastation on my house and my family? And they may be conflicted in their faith, as it were, a crisis of faith. What do you say to those persons who are in this place, Rev?
Right. So, and that question has been coming very often from different persons who I have interacted with. And the big question, you will hear a lot of people maybe wonder and thought about how would a good God cause something bad to happen. But God is still God, and human beings go through different points of testings and different points of trials. And so I remind them about Job. Job was an upright man, one who would have been in right alignment with God, but he would have experienced testing in his life. And so what I would say to our brother is that God is still with us, because even though we are going through this challenging time in our life, God remains sure that he will neither leave us, neither will he forsake us. He will give us strength. And he didn't promise that the road will always be smooth, but there will be difficulties and challenges that we go through, and he will not leave us. So even in the midst of Melissa, this category 5 storm, God is still with us. God's presence is still with us, because it could have been worse. It could have been worse than what we are experiencing. And so we just give God thanks, and we just continue to trust the Lord that he will bring us through it and make more provisions for his people.
Thank you very much, Reverend Tafari Reed. Indeed, I'm fascinated whenever I read the book of Job. If we didn't get insight into the fact that the enemy came before God to ask permission to wreak all that destruction upon him, we have certainly probably, like some people are saying, no, God bring down judgment on Job. But we know better that the enemy is the one who caused these catastrophe. We're going to take our second break and come right back. You're listening to Love 101, the family station. I'm Pastor Courtney Morrison. You're listening to the program, The Mailbox. Soon come back right after these messages.
Strong man, integrity man, I am a man. Eternal Father.
Right now, our brothers and sisters in Western Jamaica are hurting. Homes have been destroyed. Families are struggling to start again after Hurricane Melissa.
Love 101 FM, the family station, is calling on you to join hearts and hands in love in action.
You can make a difference today by donating cash or kind to help rebuild lives.
We're collecting non-perishable food items,
Bottled water,
baby supplies,
hygiene products,
toiletries,
cleaning supplies,
bedding, tarpaulins, and small household items.
Drop off your donations of cash and kind at Love 101 FM or participating partner churches island-wide.
Every can, every package, every dollar helps bring hope to the hurting. Together, we are Love in Action. Love 101 FM,
the family station.
I'm Itana, and human trafficking is everybody's business. Call 1-888-PROTECT to report suspected cases of child trafficking.
The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6 o'clock.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Welcome back to the program, The Mailbox. I'm Pastor Courtney Morrison, sitting in with Reverend Tafari Reed, Portland Cottage. Let me ensure I get this correct, that he is the minister at Mitchelltown and Portland Cottage New Testament Church of God, and his own church members have experienced devastation, not as greatly as the persons in St. Elizabeth or Westmoreland, but indeed the trauma, the experience is real, and it was frightening. We're talking about the resilient man. How does he go through trauma? How does he make it? How does he do it? Reverend Reed, can you give us some practical steps, practical solutions? And remember, this is the mailbox, so please don't feel any way that we're just talking about men. That how do we help our men? Practical solutions in getting past the trauma. I saw a video on Instagram, don't know if it is real or if that's been confirmed, of a gentleman walking around just in his underwear.
Right.
And it is said that he was a great businessman. He lost everything, and it seemed as if his mind was not able to take all the pressure, and he's now just walking on the road, just meandering around. How do practical solutions as to how to help our men, as you say, when it comes on to not being able to provide for their families?
Yeah.
What are some practical steps in this situation, especially for us here in Jamaica, and resilience generally, that we can take?
Right. And so very, very importantly, some practical steps that men can employ in dealing with traumatic experiences. I surely believe that one specific one is that we have to acknowledge the pain that you are going through, acknowledge the circumstances that they are experiencing, and seek help. That is very, very much important. So whatever the pain, the losses that they have, it is important to try to seek help as they go through these difficult seasons of their life. And most certainly, trusting in the Lord, but we know that not all of our brothers are saved. But that is also important, to trust in the Lord. And at this very much point, and it's also directed to myself, it is also important now for the church to become very much involved in community development and providing psychosocial support. So maybe even on a Sunday morning, churches seek to try to go into communities all throughout the week to provide support, to sit and talk to men, because sometimes men can shut in the circumstances that they are going through, the traumatic experience, and that now can cause them to have different reactions. Because I too saw that video, and it was quite touching to see that happen to the brother. So I would encourage them to talk about it. Don't carry it alone. There are still safe places and persons can talk to about what they are going through. They try not to suppress what they are going through, the different things. Try to develop that kind of mechanism. It's also important for a brother to reach out to other brothers, reach out to our neighbors, check up on each other. That as well will help us to rebuild through this category 5 storm that we are going through. And it's quite touching and just important to see the kind of help that is pouring out in the society, because I always say that being a neighbor is not just living beside somebody else. It's that we are Jamaicans, we are all brothers and sisters, and we must be there to provide that kind of support and to provide that kind of restoration for our brothers and sisters as they go through different traumatic experience. So it's important to acknowledge the pain, talk about it, learn how to express what they are going through, learn how to think positively, and also to have faith in God, knowing that He can restore us and actually can give us hope out of these traumatic experience.
Thanks, Rev. No, Rev, is there a difference in how men deal with grief and trauma as compared to women from your own training and experience and interaction? Are there differences, and what is helpful? What would be helpful for women to understand, for other men to understand, even as they try to process this difficult time? Your take on that?
All right. So I've counseled men who have gone through traumatic experience, and I've also counseled women who have gone through traumatic experiences as well. And so men sometimes socialize, men's socialization skills are different than female. And so sometimes you'll have men now try to suppress what they are going through because they don't want anyone to seem to use it against them. And so they will try to keep it internal. And you and I know that can cause a problem, because that can lead to depression, that can lead to them having different thought processes. And so men sometimes will try to suppress what they are going through, do not talk about it, and seek to find other means and ways how to get rid of what they are going through, which can further cause different impact on their health and also on their mental ability. And so men more likely internalize the pain, which leads to internal dumbness, or which cause them to withdraw or get angry, very, very angry, and want to just be going on and on and don't know how to manage what they are going through. And so sometimes as well, and so it is important for the ladies to understand that you can provide that space to seek to understand the man, know what they are going through, and do not use words that will irritate the anger and cause them to feel upset about what they're going through.
Thank you. Reverend Reed, sometimes how do they get the support though? Because sometimes you will have others around them say, be a man. You're not being a man, you're weak,
Hold your stress. Hold up your stress.
Eh? Say it again, Kev.
Hold your stress, man.
Yes, and so many of the men are, as you said, afraid to share. And most often with another woman, especially because they don't want to be seen as weak. How do we help our men to fight past some of those, would I want to call them ideologies? I'm not sure what to call. Probably socialization. I think it has gotten to the point of being an ideology though. How do we get our men to come out? Where are the safe spaces that you mentioned for this man to be resilient, to persevere, to not have the suicidal thoughts and overcome?
Right, and it goes back to the principles that embed in our society. It is very much important, and this is a very, very good point for us to help now to build back our society, because a resilient man is one who gets principles how to be resilient. And earlier in the program, I heard you were mentioned, is it developmental or is it innate? But it's developmental, because you would have to learn it. And so to get that kind of resilience, we have to embed back in our society that our young men need to be involved in church, and get that kind of learning how to become resilient, how to manage pressure, how to deal with difficult circumstances. And so the church is a very good space for those things to happen. I know in various communities, of which myself too, there are various community groups that looks at how to develop resilient men, and there are various groups that the social development commissions have in communities that promote focusing on different sessions that help to develop men. But most definitely, the church is a very good space where men can develop their skills of being resilient, having that kind of understanding of how to manage pressure and go through different circumstances that they are going through.
Tremendous, tremendous. Rev, there are persons in Kingston, in the East, other places that may not have experienced the devastation, like our brothers and sisters in the western part of the island. But they themselves feel traumatized and they're wondering what is happening. So, how do people who are far away, even persons overseas who are Jamaicans, the diaspora, they are now being traumatized, and sometimes they feel a bit guilty because they're saying, but nothing happened to me. And how is it that I'm experiencing this anxiety, this fear, this sense of hopelessness and helplessness? What do you say to them?
Right, and that's normal. That will happen because our brothers and our sisters have been affected, and even if persons don't have biological family in that side of the island, we have friends, we have past classmates from high school, a lot of kind of association that we have in that side of the island. And so when persons experience these kind of trauma, people start to pull on these kinds of things that is happening. And right now, the social media, a lot of people are getting information from the different social media platforms. Persons putting up videos, persons putting up clippings of what is happening. And so persons now will start to pull and draw on those things, and it starts to impact their emotions. It starts to impact them. Some people getting very angry. Some people wondering how will persons come out of this. And also too, it can cause so-called strain on some family because you're trying to help, you're not reaching out, you're not getting out to persons that you're trying to. And so I would strongly recommend that as we go through this difficult time, we consistently pray, we rely on direct us, but also if we find out that we are also experiencing anxieties or emotional challenges, that we also seek help. Find a friend that we can talk to, find somebody that we can share what we are experiencing at the moment. Because we haven't been in that space or in the western side of the island where would have been greatly impacted, but we too can have emotional challenges, feelings that we have to deal with. And so we have to create those space for persons to talk. Check up. Right now I promote checking up with persons, asking them how they are feeling, and just providing that support, that source of light to persons as they go through their difficult season. And so that can definitely provide some support to them. And even when we look at the other instance, we have children now who are out of school, in some of these parts. Support also is going to be needed to those children as well.
Wow, so much to do, so much to try to help. And we just need to stop and think about it, but not just think. Let's not be bystanders in the stands watching people on the field. Let's get involved. Let's work. I commend our own station, Love 101, for what I see that they're doing, extending open arms to those who want to donate so that the relief can get done. And for everyone who is doing a tremendous work. We're up on our final break here on the mailbox. I'm Pastor Courtney Morrison along with Sir Kevin Bailey, counseling psychologist. And indeed, he's a dub poet as well. I have to drop that one. I am write the theme song for Mailbox. And with Pastor Tafari Reed, we'll soon come back. It's 6:15 in the evening.
Yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
You can see the face, but not the heart. Those who want to do you wrong. So many times.
Bless up. This is Christopher Martin. Human trafficking is a crime. Let's unite to end human trafficking. Be wise, open your eyes, spot them, stop them, and report them.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
No shadow at the dark. No shadow at the dark.
Life can feel overwhelming at times, but you don't have to face it alone. The Ministry of Counseling and Prayer of the Edgewater Baptist Church is here to support you with our caring and confidential telephone counseling service. Whatever you're going through, grief, stress, family challenges, or just feeling stuck, our trained counselors are ready to listen, pray, and guide you toward hope and healing. Take the first step today. Call us at 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Help is available through the Prayer and Counseling Ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Remember, help is just a phone call away. That's 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Call now and let us walk this journey with you.
Cause you have straight.
The NHT has boosted construction loan limits to 11 million for one applicant and up to 23 million for 3 co-applicants. We are building Jamaica.
The time by the office of the Prime Minister is
17 minutes past 6.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Welcome back. This is the Mailbox here every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. on your favorite station, Love 101 FM. Courtney and Kevin in the place, and our very special guest, Reverend Reed. Just to remind you, next week, Wednesday, November 19, is International Men's Day. Can you imagine that? It's when we really remember our men, and what a time to celebrate our men, the resilient man. And so want you to check in. There's going to be a man talk at the United Theological College of the West Indies. That's 7 Golden Avenue. The topic, men and their mental health. And my good friend and colleague, Ade Brown, counseling psychologist, will be the presenter there. So man, check it out, November 19, 7 p.m. at United Theological College of the West Indies. So, great to be back with you. Reverend Reed, men have this thinking that we should always be strong. We should always have the answers. In fact, society pressure us. But a part of resilience is understanding your strengths and weaknesses. So how does a man contend with that? To say it is okay to have weaknesses. It is okay not to be perfect, yet you can be great, yet you can make a meaningful contribution. Oh, help the man them will listen, Rev. How them deal with that? Having weaknesses, having strength, and recognizing that not because they have weaknesses, it means that they are a failure, that they can't do well, especially during this crisis situation. Rev, are you there?
I wonder if his mic is muted. Reverend Reed, may you check to see if your mic is muted? We're not hearing you.
Maybe we lost him for a little while.
But Kevin, it's really a difficult season, especially for men, as you ask that question. How can our men see that even though we have strengths, we have weaknesses as well? And in spite of our weaknesses, we can still be great, or we are great. You know, one of the things that I tell persons, I don't talk about the real man. I just said, because a real man is also a broken man, because that's probably some weaknesses being exhibited at the time. Reverend Reed, your mic is muted. You want to speak with us now? How can we help our men to recognize that although we have strengths, there are weaknesses as well. We're not perfect, and we still can be resilient and still can be great.
Yes. You hear me now?
Clearly.
Yes.
Welcome back. You're muted.
You're muted, Reverend Reed.
You may speak now. We'd hear you. We hear the dog barking in the background. Yeah, we seem to be, Reverend Reed seem to be having a little technical difficulties there as we
All
are
right,
live.
thank you so much. I'm hoping you hear me now.
Yes, we are.
Yes, Rev, we're hearing you.
And probably there's some
Right,
time.
and so, right. So the society,
Probably where he's
Yeah,
at.
it seems very
The connection has become unstable, you know, because that has been happening a lot since the hurricane. That some of the feed is dropping in and dropping out. Sometimes you can hear, sometimes you're not able to. So
that is true. And I believe as we try and reconnect with Reverend Reed, weaknesses are a part of our lives, and the only perfect man that walked on planet Earth was Jesus Christ. And so, you know, when we feel fearful, it's normal. Fear is a normal emotion. When we feel anxious, when we feel angry, when we have failed at something, because we're going to fail at something. And the reality is that yes, when you fail, it does make you a failure. And it doesn't. And how do we help our men? And really want to encourage our men listening, you know, that even when you fail at one thing, you think of the other times when you were successful. The fact that over the years you were very present and you helped and you did this. So now we're asking you to be patient and kind to yourself. Have some compassion on yourself and really try not to buy into those who may attack you as being worthless, all because you become vulnerable. Rev, you're back with us. You're muted.
I'm right here. Sorry about that. Yes.
Sure. Right. How do you help our men who they're pressured to feel that they should be perfect, they should have all the answers, yet they find themselves recognizing they have weaknesses and they might even want to condemn themselves to a total failure? What words would you say?
Right, most definitely. And that happens most of the time because the society and the culture that we exist in, it says it have those ideologies that men not supposed to cry, men not supposed to see that they have weaknesses and challenges. And so we are normal humans and we will go through difficult situations, and we too have emotional response. And so it is important. And also you have the ideology that men not supposed to seem that they need help and support and all of those things. But we have to seek that we need support as well. We too, because men will cry, we too will go through those kind of experiences. But again, we must understand that we have strengths and we also have weaknesses, and we have challenges, and so we have to learn strategies and ways how we can get over those difficult circumstances as we experience different things in our lives. So we too have to understand that some of these cultural things that is there, we have to get them out of our way and seek that. We have to seek an aspect of how we can improve ourselves and identify our own weaknesses and identify our opportunities to grow. So seek assistance. Don't shut ourselves in thinking that we are all capable and can manage our emotions, and then we're caught up in depressive thoughts and actions, which now can cause us to pass that on to somebody else, and that can become a problem. So we have to seek support, understand that we too have to find means and ways how we can manage the emotional response that we are going through, so that we can be stable mentally and also learn how to manage different emotional responses.
Indeed. And we're also in Men's Mental Health Month. This is what November is about as well. And it's something we have to consider and really value. You know, Jesus put on a piece, a cowbell in the New the Fatwa version says in
Yes.
11:30 St. John. And so we need to know that men can cry. Every
Yes.
time I say something like that, I say,
Yes.
Kevin laughing, you know. But indeed, men, you know, it's not a laughing matter. So many laugh at men when they cry. But we really appreciate your time with us. How do persons get in touch with you, Reverend Tafari? How does one contact you to ensure they can get the assistance they need? Something I learned when I was young. No man is an island. No man stands alone. You can complete it, Kev. You know, remember them little things that from
Yes,
school.
no man is
Yeah,
an
man.
island, no man stands alone.
No man stands alone.
Yes.
Indeed. So can you just give us your contact number? I thought I saw a comment from someone on social media. Big up to all those on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok. Thanks for joining us. A word vibe saying, yes, a real man is both a lion and a lamb.
Yes.
Yes, there it is. There it is. So how
Right.
do persons get in touch with you? Your contact
Right.
and
Yes, so
social
my
media
contact
platform.
number is 783-5846. And so persons can call. I will provide those support to the best of my ability as what I am currently doing right now. Calling.
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it, Reverend Tafari Reed. Just want to say thanks to our producer, Jermaine Johnson, to Nico Angus for technical support. Thanks to our guest, Reverend Tafari Reed, pastor at Mitchelltown and Portland Cottage New Testament Church of God. We end the show with this quote: if your heart is broken, make art with the pieces. Shane Kaiser Zan.
If your HERT is broken, make ART with the pieces. It's so awesome.
That's right.
So awesome. And indeed, we saw some persons just saying hello to you, Reverend Tafari. We saw them on social media. So that's it for our show for this week, though. Catch you next week, November 19th, International Men's Day. Same place, same time, inside the mailbox. Monday.
Yeah.
Strong man, integrity man, I am a man. Eternal Father.
Right now, our brothers and sisters in Western Jamaica are hurting. Homes have been destroyed.